Hey, we're back for round 2 on Legacy Death and Taxes. Hopefully we find our opponent. Maybe I clicked the record button too soon. There we go. Okay, we're on the draw against Urawik 3. I actually think this hand is fine. It's a little bit susceptible to something like Thoughtseize, but having mana where we can cast anything that we want, and also having disruption in Wasteland and Swords, I'm pretty happy for this. So I'm going to keep this. I could see myself mulliganing this once, maybe for an Aether Vial hand or just a little bit more to do, but I think this is going to be fine. Interesting. Double Mock Start. Loam. Okay. Well, that's pretty nice because that shuts down our Wasteland plan a lot. Plains. Wasteland's interesting, but I think just Plains Pass is fine here. We can hold up Swords for something like Hexmage, Dark Confidant, another Reliquary. Not too sure what this deck's going to be on, but it could just be lands. Wow. Yes. I guess they hit us there just to try to get it back with the Ghost, with the Loam. Interesting play. Of course, they might not know that we're on Death and Taxes, so maybe they think we're a deck with only 1 or 2 planes in the deck. Vial. Interesting. I don't mind Vial. I think Vial is one of the best cards in this matchup. Thalia is interesting because it does slow them down. But I think Vial here is fine. Also, by Ghost Quartering us, Plains isn't the greatest draw, so taking them out of the deck isn't the worst either. It is a very small factor, but having that dilution is really nice. My opponent here actually showing off the combo, because if they have Crop Rotation, they can just get us. Another Wasteland. I think here I'm happy just to play Wasteland and pass turn. I guess we could play out the Jitte, because I don't believe our opponent can crop for Wasteland and also crop for Thespian Stage. Also, don't just want to fire off this Wasteland in response to. I don't want to fire it off just for firing it off. I want to play around crop rotation a little bit. My opponent hasn't loamed, which is interesting. And activate Vial here. Now we get to untap, tick this up. Play a second Wasteland, which is nice. Now I have the option of playing the Thalia and equipping it, or just holding up Swords to Plowshares. I might hold it for now, just because my opponent also has Maze in the bin. It might cause them to try to get the Maze back in play ASAP to not allow this Jitte to get counters, because what this Jitte represents is a full turn, which is really nice, because gaining life means that we can go above the 20. I think our best draws are at 3, so I'm pretty happy with ticking this up to 3. Things like Flickerwisp, Recruiter. One card that I actually like right now is Phyrexian Revoker for Mox Diamond, but if we also draw into Karakas, or if my opponent has Karakas, then Vial on 2 is really nice with Thalia. So I think for now I'm going to keep it at 2, and then if we draw into a 3-drop, I'll tick it up to 3 next turn. Okay. See if my opponent does anything in response. Maybe crop rotation for Karakas. They're just going to Wasteland. Interesting. I think we're just going to go for Bayou. They can crop. I guess here we could also go for Dark Depths with Wasteland, but I think I'd rather see what they crop for first. Because if we take them off that, they might just crop for Maze or Karakas, and in this case it's going to be Karakas. So now we can actually just hold up Wasteland on the Karakas, so that they can't loam it. Interesting, they're not going to dredge. Oh, they did dredge. Okay, hitting an Elvish Reclaimer main deck. Interesting. One card that's very nice in this matchup as well is just Prelate for 2. Because it turns off Punishing Fire and also Life Nullo. Without actually hitting things like ours, like Swords to Plowshares, which is really nice. Snow-Covered Forest makes me think this is going to be a deck that plays Field of the Dead. Wasteland Karakas. If they have crop rotation, that's fine. We have Flickerwisp and Swords to Plowshares to deal with Dark Depths, which is nice. Now we can put in Thalia. One card I don't want to see is Punishing Fire. That would be pretty hard to deal with. Happy to tick this up now that we have the Flickerwisp. And other swords. So at least now with this mana we can hold up Swords to Plowshares through Thalia, which is nice. I do like it that if my opponent did have Punishing Fire, they're waiting for me to actually equip the Thalia as well. But it looks like this is going through, so first damage has been done. This looks like a loam. Okay. I wonder if I want to be aggressive with this Flickerwisp, and I think I do. I think what I'm going to do is actually flicker out. Interesting, they're going to do that in response. Okay. I'm just going to flicker a Mox Diamond. Because it means they have to discard a land in hand, which isn't too bad because they do have the Loam engine going, but... Gonna say no to this. Always no. Port. Port's not the worst. Let's equip. And then I don't mind swinging for 5 here. Actually, I could just take them all off. I think it's better just to take them all off. We can still play around Punishing Fire just with 1, which is nice. And it just speeds up the clock. It makes them have to find something like Maze or play the Maze. I'm just going to tap them the Wasteland. They're most likely just Wasteland in response, but right now that's okay. Maybe to be fair, I could have kept that port in hand until the maze was actually in play, just to make sure I'm attacking with this Flickerwisp every turn. Because otherwise we're not really doing anything, especially with Thalia as our other creature. I'm going to activate this, see if they do anything. They don't. Okay. Maybe they're looking to do something in response now. No. Okay. This can stay at 3. Another threat would be great. Port's actually pretty nice. Because we can tap down the maze. Go to attacks. Attack with Wisp. Looks like they have another crop. Rough. Double maze is pretty tough. I would have waited. I would have waited because they most likely know I'm going to use my counters. I would have waited to see at least a counter come off. Or just take the 3. Maybe what I should have done with the Flickerwisp as well is actually reset my Vial. Already played a lane for turn. I'm going to play Thalia out. Because if my opponent doesn't Karakas it, then it's a little win. I do believe they would. But otherwise, if they just untap it and then realize, that's pretty huge for us. Wasteland's fine. This is where I really miss Questing Beast. I don't want Stoneforge as it finds Batterskull, and we can just try to start going wide. So Batterskull is a threat, Flickerwisp is a threat, and then Stoneforge with the Jitte is nice. But I also have to watch my timer because we're most likely going down in this game. I don't like to call it too early, but double maze is very hard to try to keep up with. And they're going to go for the slow roll of Dark Depths, which is kind of funny. One thing I really like about Swords to Plowshares in this matchup is actually using it defensively on your own creatures. So sometimes, and a lot of the time, you can be in the position where you can actually just swing for a bit, and then they make the Dark Depths token, you swords your own creature, take the damage and go to a single digit life total, and then just swing back for the win. Revoker's interesting. I'm going to cast this first and see if they do anything, because if they don't, we can name Mox Diamond. They did float Punishing Fire mana, which is interesting. Sadly, can't do much here. This is just going to be okay. Probably happy to take a hit and just try to draw into Karakas or a Flickerwisp. I'm going to gain 2 life. Go to 22. Haven't seen Punishing Fire yet. Tabernacle's pretty good. I might take one more draw and then concede. I don't think we're winning this matchup. Yes, I want to keep this around. I probably... yeah. I'll keep everything. Karakas. Sword. Rough. The issue here is that now we have to swords the Merit Liege. They're going back to 20. They're going back to 31 life. I'd much rather just try to play out the next 2 games within the 60 minutes that I have. So this is an interesting matchup. I do like taking out some number of Thalia because of Karakas, if not all. I do like Surgical and Rest in Peace. I also like Leonin Relic-Warder and Path. Council's Judgment's interesting because you can just... even something like Molten Vortex, Exploration... there's a few permanents that I do like hitting. Cataclysm is always an interesting one, but usually they get up, which is annoying. They can just come back from it. So, although this does seem like a Karakas, unless... maybe that's incorrect from me. Maybe I don't mind dropping a Swords for the Path. Everything else seems pretty good. Stoneforge I might be able to drop down, but I do like having the early advantage of just having something like Batterskull on turn 3. I think the Factory can come out. I don't think this is a matchup where I want Factory. Probably happy to drop a Mother of Runes, especially if Tabernacle is the one card that I'm kind of scared of. And maybe just one Stoneforge. I don't mind this. I still think Mirran's pretty good, especially just as it has to be mazed or else it's a really good clock. Could also see Mirran going down to 2 and then the second Cataclysm coming in. I actually don't mind that. I think Cataclysm can be pretty good in this matchup, especially if they're going towards the Field of the Dead kind of build. And I'm happy to try to tax him on that. This is not a great hand. It has Surgical, which is nice, but otherwise we have a pretty wobbly mana base. And no real things like... nothing really to do outside of Revoker on maybe Mox Diamond and Molten Vortex. I'm going to mulligan this. This is a lot better. I'm going to keep this. And I'm going to bottom... I think Stoneforge represents my beta, so I'm going to bottom Mirran. No Vial start, which I really want in this matchup. Thoughtseize. Did not expect Thoughtseize in this matchup. Unless it's a different build. Maybe it's not a Punishing Fire deck. Maybe it's just like a green-black depths deck. There was one in the top 8 recently, so... if they take Stoneforge, I don't mind just naming Mox Diamond in the blind. Wisp. They did float red-green with the last Mox Diamond hit, so I feel like they would be playing it, but we haven't seen any red lands yet, which is always interesting. Surgical's pretty nice here. We're going to go for Loam. Port Snow-covered forest, Thespian stage. What else do they have? Interesting. Drop of Honey is a little bit annoying to play with. Force of Vigor is interesting. This looks like it's just green-black. Interesting. 4 Abrupt Decays. One thing I like looking at is what outs they have. And for Prelate, it's still pretty good because although it doesn't turn off Punishing Fire, it does turn off Abrupt Decay. So, nice. Take a little snip of their hand as well because I don't believe this shows it. I'm going to play a land here and then just play Flickerwisp. Probably just flickering Mox Diamond. If they want to drop a land, they can. If not, the Mox just goes, which is nice. So with the Loams gone, I'm not sure if they have a way to actually get them back. I didn't say anything like ramming up Excavator. Looks like they're going to keep it around. So we're about Port, Forest, Stage, Verdant. Port and Stage. See what they tap down, because if they tap down the Port or a land here, I'm happy just to use the Port. If they want to use it, it means they tap themselves out, which is really nice because then I know that I can attack for 5. They're going down to 8. It just gives me so much more knowledge. Will they use it? Maybe to draw a card? Interesting. Cataclysm. Definitely attack. So we know about Verdant and Snow-covered Forest. Okay. This is fine. With the ports, it's a little bit rough. This is where I really like Aether Vial because it just plays around port so well. Speaking of... putting out of the 3 is actually really nice here. It means that Flickerwisp by itself is just lethal. And we get there. Do we want to change anything based on what we saw? Seeing that we saw green-black, I actually like the extra Mirran. I think on the draw, we might go down on Cataclysm. Should have had a better look because maybe Revoker is actually not the greatest outside of Mox Diamond. We did see Sylvan Library and Drop of Honey, but nothing really else, so maybe it's the Revoker that goes. However, these past 2 games, being able to hit Mox Diamond early is really good. So maybe just as a 2-drop 2-1, it's actually quite nice as a attacker. And if it eats a Decay, I'm probably okay with that. So I think Revoker is actually quite good in this matchup. It might just be the 3rd Stoneforge. I think keeping the Batterskull is okay, even just with 2 Stoneforge Mystics. We are down to 22 land though, so that might be an issue. Let's play this out. We'll see how it goes. Maybe Gideon's better in this matchup. Interesting hand, but sadly does not a keep. I'm not going to keep this because I don't think I can rely on my mana efficiency. I don't think the Port and Wasteland is going to do too much without something like Vial, so I'd rather also have a 2 or 3 drop as well. This is great. I'm going to keep this. I'm going to bottom the 2nd Flickerwisp. There's that Mox Diamond. Alright. Just gonna 6 these. We have nothing to do. I don't think I'd even show that I have something like Surgical in hand and like act like we have Surgical, because Loam's not in the bin. I'm not gonna waste my time just to act like we have Surgical, and if they put Loam in the bin, I want to do something in response. Dark Depths, okay. So they're pretty close to the combo here. Luckily Karakas is pretty nice. And if they want to use Port, they can't use Reclaimer. And it looks like because they're keeping up Reclaimer and not attacking, they are going to use it this turn. Path. Interesting. I definitely like Port this turn. I think I like seeing what they go for first here. Verdant, interesting. Maybe just going for a 3/4 creature. I think I'm happy keeping the path for now and just actually tapping down this Port. And then maybe next turn is playing Prelate for 2. Loam's okay. Interesting they didn't attack first. Still gonna activate Vial. Untap. Tick Vial up. I think this is a great play to put Prelate on 2. A great place. Second Port. We have to play the Karakas to play the Prelate, which is fine. Just means one less Prelate for later. So Force of Vigor is a card that I'm kind of scared of because this Vial is pretty nice for us. Interesting they didn't attack because they could have gone for it pretty well. Hopefully no Force of Vigor, because that's really our only out to this Dark Depths with Port as well. So see if we get to untap here. We do, which is nice. They're probably going to tap down at least the Karakas here. They don't. Wow. Well then. Maybe I don't mind Jailer here, to be frank. How do we lose? We lose if they have removal for the Aether Vial, and then also removal for the Flickerwisp. Because if we tap out for Jailer, take this. I think I'm okay with Jailer. Especially because I don't want to put the Vial to 3, and right now we have 4 mana. I think this is a free swing as well. I didn't see something like Steppy. Now they kind of have to go for it, or else they've just wasted a whole turn. I can also just exile the Thespian stage if I wish. I don't mind that. It just plays around if they do have step, which I don't believe I saw when I surgicaled them, but just in case. We then have multiple ways to deal with it when it does come down as well, so I'm not too unhappy. They're going to crop. Interesting. Crop away a port for Blast Zone. Interesting, okay. So they're going to tick it up, x equals 2. So they're going to tick it up to 3. I think them I'm happy just flickering that out, to be fair. So that resolves. Now they only have one card in hand. They get back the Blast Zone. That's going to be fine. It's on 1. We'll keep this at 3. Mirran's pretty nice. Wasteland's going to be great. Attack with everything. Letting us draw, interesting. Surely they do something. Definitely going to try to hit it. Nice. They untap. I'm going to port down the stage. Kind of forces them to do something with it, or just turn it off. Copy Karakas. That's fine. Oh, they're making this. Okay. Well, now I'm just going to path it just to play around anything. I guess Rite of Consumption is also covered by Sanctum Prelate, and I didn't see it. They might have brought it in. It might be in the deck, but just in case. To be fair, now looking back, that path was not needed. Rite of Consumption is actually covered, so we do get up, which is nice. Our opponent just didn't really have the start that they wanted. And Prelate, you know what? I guess they did. They had a Mox Diamond start with Life in the Loam that was really nice. They had Exploration, but thankfully Prelate on 2 just really stuck. And we got there, so that's pretty nice as well. We'll see you for round 3.